This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Monday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Here's what's making headlines on this March 9th. More Hoosiers test positive for the COVID-19 virus. We're working for you this morning with what's being done to stop the spread of the virus in the Hoosier state.
Plus, IPS has reached a deal with the union that represents its bus drivers. Details on that agreement and what that means for future transportation in the district.
And a program at Ball State is getting students out of the classroom and into the community. Our Kelsey Anderson shows us how architecture students are working together to create and maintain community partnerships. But first, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast and find out whether or not meteorologist Todd Clausen brought back weather with him from his trip to Hawaii.
I know. Come on, Todd.
You know, it was nice yesterday in the 60s, so it wasn't too far off from Hawaii. Of course, we were missing the ocean, the palm trees, and the hula
dolphins.
But right now, we are dealing with quiet conditions as you make your way out the door. That is the good news, as skies are partly cloudy, but we are expecting rain in the forecast throughout the day today. And you notice it back off to our west. This is not really going to arrive, though, until later in the afternoon and more so this evening. So the first half of our day, it is going to be dry for us all across the area. That is the good news. And the temperatures are still nice and mild. You're walking out to temperatures that are in the 40s and 50s across the area. 56 still in Bloomington. We're at 51 in Indy, 50 in Tipton, as well as Peru. 47 is the current temperature as you make your way into the Greenfield area. Not quite as warm as yesterday when we climbed up into the mid-60s, but today we should get back up to right around 60 degrees. The trade-off, though, is going to be the wind. That wind really picks up as the day goes on, so that's going to make the temperatures you see here feel a little bit cooler. And then once we get past the 4 o'clock hour, that's when we'll start to build in the rain chances. We'll talk more about those for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a look right now at our Traffic Now maps. Planning out your drive on the west side on eastbound I-74 from State Road 267 to I-465. It's a quick 7-minute drive, and traffic there is moving along up to speed. Taking you out live right now to the north side, I-465 and Michigan Road, our NDOT traffic camera in that area. Everything's traveling up to speed in terms of your commute around central Indiana. Of course, we'll continue to monitor things and let you know if there are any issues. It is 5:01. We do begin this morning with continuing coverage of the coronavirus outbreak here in the state of Indiana. A local school district is actually canceling classes for today.
This as others are taking more precautions as more cases of COVID-19 are being reported. Avon Community School Corporation announcing late last night that an elementary school student tested positive for the virus. The district put out a message saying the student attends Hickory Elementary School. That school will be closed now for 2 weeks, with students and staff being on April 6th after spring break. Officials going on to say today all students in the district will have an e-learning day. Additional information on the student or their condition have not yet been released.
And here in Marion County, Indianapolis public school leaders are monitoring the spread of the coronavirus. The district says no confirmed cases of the virus have been reported at any IPS schools. The district has developed a special section on their website to keep parents, staff, and students updated. Information on the site includes how to report if you or a student tests positive for COVID-19, tips on keeping safe, and the latest information about the spread of that disease here in the state of Indiana.
Eli Lilly is asking some of its employees to work from home for the time being to prevent the spread of the coronavirus on its downtown campus. The pharmaceutical company says it's focusing on protecting the health and safety of their employees and protecting their ability to make and supply safe medicines for patients. The majority of workers who will stay at home are office-based employees. Lilly says people who work in manufacturing and research will continue to work at the company's facilities. Lilly employs 11,000 people in Indianapolis. The company is also restricting domestic travel among its U.S. employees. Churches throughout central Indiana are also taking extra precautions to help protect their congregations against coronavirus.
Leaders at Connection Point in Hendricks County, where a case of the coronavirus was confirmed on Sunday, have put in place several measures to keep attendees safe. They're offering extra hand sanitizing stations, posting additional signage reminding people to wash their hands, wiping down door handles and surfaces between services, and next week the church is making changes to their communion.
We will actually have encapsulated individuals so people can take communion on their own and just feel a little bit safer. We don't want to have a sense of fear by any means, and that's not what God would want us to do either. We want to absolutely be sharing the hope through him.
Church leaders also say people can watch services online if they're feeling ill or uncomfortable. Connection Point plans to continue these practices through June, and they will reevaluate at that point.
As we continue to track the latest on the coronavirus, our goal is to educate and prepare you. And health officials say the best way to guard against the virus is to learn about it. We have compiled everything you need to know about coronavirus for you in one spot. Just head to theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
The time right now is 5:04. In other news this morning, 3 people, including a young child, are dead following a wrong-way crash down in southern Indiana. Indiana State Police say that they received numerous calls about a white Kia Sportage traveling the wrong way on I-65 just after 9 o'clock Saturday night in Floyd County near New Albany. Before officers could find the vehicle, the driver turned west onto I-265 and continued in the wrong direction. Minutes later, the car collided with another vehicle. The driver of the other car, a front seat passenger, and a juvenile that was in the car died in that crash. 2 others in the car were injured. Police believe alcohol was a factor and say the driver who caused the crash remains in serious condition.
Heading north now to White County, where another suspected drunk driver destroyed a liquor store. State police troopers responded to the scene at Brookston Spirit on State Road 43 around 8 Sunday morning. As you can see, officers found a truck had driven through the center of the small business and nearly out the other side. The driver complained of minor injuries at the scene. Medics checked him out, then police arrested him. No one else was hurt.
At 5:06, IPS has signed an agreement with the union that represents its bus drivers. Leaders say disruptions like what happened last month should now be a thing of history. About 18,000 students missed school when nearly 100 school bus drivers and monitors called off 2 weeks ago. The call-offs came amid ongoing labor disputes between IPS and the union that represents the drivers. But IPS says it has reached an agreement that includes bonuses and transition assistance for employees whose contract with the district ends in June. The agreement goes to the school board today, and it will be signed and ratified.
Hiring Hoosiers is our TV6 is focused on linking you up with skills, resources, and jobs. And we love to find ways that education can take you into a career. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson joins us live with the details on a class that's getting its students out of the classroom and into the community. Good morning, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning, Meredith. So most jobs, they require you to build relationships, whether that be with your peers, your bosses, clients, and especially community partners. And that's exactly what a class at Ball State University is doing. For architecture students, building and creating is already a passion. But building things for the community with community-sourced textiles is teaching them to gain and maintain vital community relationships. The students work in the Magix building, a maker space in downtown Muncie, making things for several organizations in the community. They get their materials through partnerships with Midwest Metals and the Lumbermen's Association.
The students have the ability to work with real world projects, with real community partners, with real industrial partners, and they're able to add value through design in equations that you won't normally find in the classroom. And this ties directly into the mission that we've had at Ball State University, serving the community.
Students tell me this class mixes the digital, physical, and social parts of being an architect, and that's something they wouldn't be able to get in the classroom. Now, they are always looking for more people to partner with, so if you're interested in partnering with this class, just head over to hiringhoosiers.com. Todd.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. You can see Kelsey's hair blowing in the wind a little bit, and that is going to be a common theme for everybody here later on this afternoon as the winds really start to ramp up. So that's one issue we have today. The other issue is rainfall that'll be heading in our direction. Now, the first half of the day, completely dry. You don't have to worry about any rain through the noon hour. Once we get into the afternoon hours, it's just the chance of a spotty shower. It's after the evening commute that the rain chances really start to ramp up as we work our way into the afternoon hours. So in our evening hours, rather. So this morning, temperatures are nice and mild. We're in the 40s and 50s. That's where we stay through the morning commute with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Keep in mind sunrise. This is the first morning commute that we have, that later sunrise that'll be taking place. But the rain is all off to our west, and this is what will arrive tonight. And then it becomes pretty steady into the overnight hours. But the good news is, despite the wind, temperatures today still well above normal. We're into the 50s and 60s once again. We'll time out the rain rain for you using TrueCast coming up hour by hour in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are continuing to track the coronavirus outbreak across the country. Surgeon General Jerome Adams now saying the virus is being contained in some areas. Hear his message to Americans coming up.
And the Democratic presidential race is gearing up for another big battle Tuesday. Straight ahead, details on the major endorsements coming in and what's at stake.
Night 5 Bachelor finale, ABC tonight.
Welcome back. A cruise ship carrying at least 21 passengers who tested positive for the coronavirus is set to dock in the port of Oakland. Princess Cruises, the parent company of the Grand Princess cruise ship, made that announcement on Sunday.
Officials say passengers will begin disembarking sometime today. California residents will be sent to a federally operated facility within the state for testing and isolation. Non-California residents will be taken to federal facilities in other states. The crew will be quarantined and treated aboard the ship. Another cruise ship held offshore due to a coronavirus scare has been cleared to dock. The Regal Princess was supposed to dock at Port Everglades in Florida Sunday morning, but 2 crew members used to work on the Grand Princess. After completing testing, the CDC allowed the ship to dock at 10 last night.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Surgeon General says the coronavirus is being contained in certain areas. There are more than 500 confirmed cases in nearly every state and Washington, D.C., and more than 20 deaths have been reported. But Jerome Adams says if there were massive numbers of COVID-19 cases, there would be more deaths. He also compared the virus to the flu.
Some parts of the country have contained it, just like when you look at the flu. And when we look at the flu tracker, some parts of the country are having much more severe flu seasons. Some are having very mild flu seasons. The same thing for coronavirus. So you want to first try to keep it out of your community. Once you know it's in your community, you want to take the steps to prevent spread within the community and to keep those most at risk safe.
Adams added that the average age of death for people from coronavirus is 80. He says now the focus is on reducing the impact of the virus.
Here at 5:14 today, 4 men charged with downing Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 will go on trial. The plane was shot down in July of 2014 as it flew over eastern Ukraine. All 298 people on board were killed. The 4 suspects are believed to be linked to Russia's GRU military intelligence agency. Russia has denied involvement in the deadly attack.
North Korea fired multiple projectiles towards the Sea of Japan this morning. That's according to the U.S. and South Korean officials. The launch comes after last week's short-range missile launch. The Pentagon says those were likely part of North Korea's military drills for its wintertime exercise. Last year, North Korea's test launched missiles 13 times as denuclearization talks with the United States came to a standstill. In its New Year's Day message, Pyongyang warned it would show off a, quote, new strategic weapon in the near future.
Turning now to your election 2020 coverage, Senator Bernie Sanders and former Vice President Joe Biden will face off in what's being called Super Tuesday 2 tomorrow. 6 states will head to the polls with a major focus on Michigan, where 125 delegates are up for grabs. Both are heading into the day with major endorsements. Sanders receiving an endorsement from the Reverend Jesse Jackson at a rally in Grand Rapids, and Biden receiving an endorsement from former presidential candidate Senator Kamala Harris.
I stand with Bernie Sanders today because he stood with me. I stand with him because he stands with you.
I have decided that I am, with great enthusiasm, going to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States. I believe in Joe. He is a public servant who has always worked for the best of who we are as a nation, and we need that right now.
Senator Elizabeth Warren, meanwhile, has not made an endorsement. The former presidential candidate instead making an appearance on Saturday Night Live, joking that she might, quote, pull a New York Times and endorse both of them.
At 5:16, the battle over equal pay is getting heated between the United States women's national team and the U.S. Soccer Federation. This after USSF president published an open letter on Saturday. In it, it says, quote, we have made multiple attempts to meet with the WNT. So far, they have repeatedly declined our invitation, end quote. The letter goes on to say that equal pay has been offered, but a spokesperson for the players says that the USSF's letter is, quote, riddled with falsehoods and that equal pay was not offered. Players are seeking more than $66 million in damages as part of a gender discrimination lawsuit. That trial is scheduled to start in May.
A Denver man is on a mission to end daylight saving time once and for all. Scott Yates is the leader and creator of Lock the Clock movement. Yates says he has been working on ending the clock changing practice for 6 years, meeting with state legislators and congressmen to try to make it happen. He points to research showing the negative impacts of losing and gaining sleep, which include an increase in heart attacks and traffic accidents while people adjust. Most states are working on their own legislation this year. There are also 2 federal bills in the works that would end daylight saving. Here at 5:17, meteorologist Todd Clausen is back from vacation and has a rainy forecast for us.
You know, there's good news and there's bad news in this forecast. The good news is temperatures still remain very mild. The bad news is it's going to become windy today, and then rain is going to return tonight. But tonight is the key word. A good chunk of the day, especially the first half of the day today, is going to be nice and dry for you to start off your work week here across central Indiana. Temperature outside right now, 51 degrees. So when you open that door for the first time here this morning and you walk out, you're not walking out and getting hit by those cold temperatures. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised as you get going. Winds out of the south-southwest right now at 13 miles per hour. Those winds, though, they really start to ramp up as the day goes on. And by the time we get to later on this afternoon, we could be very close potentially to a wind advisory being issued by the National Weather Service. 56 in Bloomington right now, a pair of 50s in Peru as well as Tipton. A little cooler off to the east. Richmond, you're sitting at 49 degrees. So throughout the day today, our temperatures will moderate from eventually everybody should be in the upper 40s by 9 a.m. and then climbing quickly back up into the 50s by the time we get to mid-morning. 56 degrees by the noon hour. We're pushing 60 degrees throughout the afternoon, and then eventually we should get there as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. Keep in mind with the time change over the weekend, our sunrise is a little bit later, our sunset is later, so our high temperature is going to now typically occur a little bit later across the day than we saw earlier in the year when we kind of peaked usually right around 3 o'clock. It's probably going to be more 4, 5-ish now as we go forward throughout the remainder of winter and into spring. We're dealing with partly cloudy skies right now. The bulk of the rainfall is still off to our west, but this is what's going to be heading in our direction as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours. This morning, 10:30, we're just dealing with clouds. There could be a stray shower in far western locations early this afternoon. Your morning, evening commute, 4 o'clock onwards, still should be pretty dry across the area. It's once we get to the evening hours that this rain moves in. It's fairly steady throughout the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning's commute. There's still some lingering showers. Do not be shocked maybe if you hear a rumble of thunder throughout the overnight hours as well, but we are not expecting any severe weather, and then that'll move out throughout the day, but it will start to cool us down into the coming days. Today is going to be the warmest high temperature that we have this week. Here's your evening forecast. We're in the 50s, so it's mild with those rain showers. Definitely have the umbrella handy tonight. Those showers linger into tomorrow morning. And then as we work our way throughout this week, it's not bad. We're still above normal. Thursday, 62 degrees. Friday, mostly sunny at 53, and then a little cooler as we head into the weekend with shower chances both Saturday and Sunday. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a look right now north of State Road 334 along Interstate 65. This is up in the Boone County area, and you can see the camera bouncing around a little bit in the breeze this morning. Traffic is picking up, as you can see by all the headlights, but it's still traveling up to speed, so that is good news. Let's take a look right now at our traffic now maps heading in on eastbound I-70 between Ronald Reagan Parkway and I-65 in downtown at the South Split. It's a 12-minute drive, so that's traveling up to speed. Let's take you out live to the south side of town. Here's I-465 at East Street, US 31. You can see traffic there on the interstate and the ramp system is moving along smoothly. We will, of course, monitor your roads this Monday morning and let you know if there are any delays.
Border Patrol agents have seized a massive shipment of counterfeit toothbrushes from Turkey. Agents say they confiscated more than 1,400 fake Oral-B toothbrush heads. The load would have gone for more than $12,000 at the suggested retail price. Officials say counterfeit toothbrush heads pose a serious health threat because they are manufactured in unsanitary facilities. They could also lead to sickness, mouth injuries, even choking. This is CBP's second Oral-B toothbrush head seizure in 5 months. In November, Philadelphia officers seized more than 20,000 counterfeit toothbrush heads shipped from China.
Boeing could be facing a nearly $20 million fine. The FAA says the company violated the federal aviation regulations when it certified 2 aircrafts as, quote, airworthy. Hundreds of Boeing 737 NGS and 737 MAX planes allegedly had sensors on them that were not approved to work with guidance systems. Those sensors made it possible for pilots to see the information on a glass screen in front of them so they don't have to look down away from the window. windshield. Boeing has 30 days to respond to those allegations.
Barbie is celebrating a major milestone. The iconic doll turned 61 today, and not coincidentally, it's National Barbie Day. The Barbie doll debuted at the American International Toy Fair in New York on March 9th, 1959. The first Barbie wore a black and white swimsuit, had the full name of Barbara Millicent Roberts, and cost only $3. She got boyfriend Ken a couple years later in 1961. And since then, Barbie has enjoyed more than 150 careers in her lifetime, everything from astronaut to presidential candidate. Happy B-Day, Barbie.
Yes. Cadbury is looking for somebody very special. Coming up, a look for some of the finalists in the running to become the company's newest mascot.
And at 5:30, meetings will be held to talk about compensation for landowners near the planned Nickel Plate Trail. We'll have details on what's being proposed.
2 days only at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
No bunny knows Easter better than the Cadbury bunny, and one special pup hopes to be the new face of the famous brand. Cadbury issued a casting call for all pets to try out to be this year's mascot. Now they're down to 10 finalists. One of an Ohio coonhound named Lieutenant Dan. He was born with a birth defect that required both of his back legs to be amputated. But his owner says that doesn't stop him living the fullest life. Besides Lieutenant Dan, there's a mini horse, pig, llama, hamster, a duck, and 2 cats all in the running. The winner will star in a new Cadbury commercial and get $5,000.
Look at that face.
Oh,
so cute.
So cute, yes. And we'll be excited to see who the new Cadbury bunny is.
Yes, really pulling off the ears there. All right, Todd. We got to talk about our forecast today. Yesterday was beautiful. Can we do more of the same?
You know, it's not quite as good as yesterday. It's still mild, but we won't have as much sunshine as we saw yesterday. And there's a couple other flaws in the forecast today. One being the wind, which will pick up, and then also some rain tonight. But you can't complain about temperatures in the 60s here at the beginning of March. Right at 60 degrees today. In Indy, a little warmer to the south, a little cooler to the north. The rain is still well off to our west. And that'll arrive this evening. We'll talk more about that rain coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:27. We're back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. We'll see you then.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, a local school district closed this morning after an elementary school student tested positive for the coronavirus. The very latest on the outbreak here in central Indiana and what's being done to stop the spread.
And a program at Ball State is helping students build connections in the community. Our Kelsey Anderson shows us what they're doing to go beyond the classroom and build partnerships for their future. But first, we do want to get a check-in on your Storm Team 6 forecast.
That's right. Here's a look downtown, view to the west. Todd Clausen is standing by. Clear out there right now. Todd, what can we expect for our Monday?
You know, it's not a bad start as you get out the door. One, it's mild. The wind, not too much of an issue as of right now. However, as the day goes on, that's when we are going to start to run into some issues here across the area. So I checked the umbrella. If you want to be more safe than sorry, just grab it, tuck it into the car. You probably don't need it until later on this afternoon, more so this evening. And then the light rain jacket tonight as well. And there'll be a little bit of sunshine here this morning, but the clouds already starting to increase. So I don't know if you necessarily need to have the sunglasses like you did throughout the entire day yesterday. Look at this on the far side of the screen. Some thunder and lightning this morning over there in central Illinois. And it's not out of the question as that batch of rain moves into our area later on tonight that we could have the potential for a few rumbles of thunder. But overall, this is just going to be a general rain for us. But once the rain does start, it will be fairly steady for us across the area. Temperatures right now in the 40s and 50s. You're walking out to mild temperatures, and highs today will get back up to right around 60 degrees. Just a spot shower chance this afternoon. The better rain chances are this evening. More on that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are keeping a close eye on your roads. Might be a little breezy out this way in Boone County, I-65 here, near a little north of Old State Road 334. You can see the camera bouncing around just a little bit. Traffic is picking up, as you can see, as well, but it's traveling up to speed both northbound and southbound. Let's take a look at your drive times right now as you're heading in from the south side, heading northbound on State Road 37 from State Road 144 near Johnson and Morgan counties up to I-465 ramps at Harding Street. It's a 13-minute drive, no delays. So let's take you out to the east side. This is our INDOT traffic camera at I-70 near Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. You can see traffic there is picking up this morning and traveling up to speed. It is 5:32. One local school district is actually canceling classes today, and others others are taking more precautions as additional cases of the coronavirus have developed here in central Indiana.
Avon Community School Corporation announcing late last night that an elementary school student tested positive for the virus. The district sent a message on its website and Facebook saying all the schools in the district will have an e-learning day today. Hickory Elementary School, where the student attends, will be closed for the next 2 weeks. Students and staff will return to the classroom after spring break on April 6th. Additional information on the student or their condition have not yet been released.
A person in Hendricks County also tested positive for coronavirus. The Indiana Department of Health says that the patient traveled to Boston in late February to attend a Biogen conference and developed flu-like symptoms. The person had mild symptoms and is now in isolation. More than a dozen COVID-19 cases have been tied to that particular Biogen conference nationwide, including a Marion County man who was Indiana's first case of the disease. The state's health commissioner is now asking for all Hoosiers who attended this Biogen conference to self-quarantine at home, monitor for symptoms, and notify their local health department if they develop a cough, fever, or shortness of breath.
In addition, Noblesville schools sent a notice to parents last night saying a parent has been told to self-quarantine. This comes after they attended an out-of-state event last week where another person tested positive for the virus. District officials say the parent will keep their children at home as well to avoid exposing others. So far, that parent has not shown any symptoms. However, the family did attend baseball and swim events at Noblesville High School this weekend before the parent became aware of the need to self-quarantine. Officials say there is no need to panic, but if you are at those events, you should be extra vigilant in watching for symptoms.
Developing this morning, a cruise ship with at least 21 passengers that tested positive for coronavirus is set to dock in Oakland, California today.
The Grand Princess cruise ship was supposed to stop in Mexico when they were ordered to come back to San Francisco last week. A couple from Muncie is aboard that ship and has been in quarantine off the coast.
RTV6 spoke with Vicki Fisher, who was with her husband Bill on that ship. They say a previous passenger who had been on the cruise ship prior to their cruise died from the virus. They've been trying to make the most of their time despite this situation. They've been served meals by staff members dressed in protective gear and have had to stay in their room since Thursday.
Well, emotionally, I'm fine because we are symptom-free right now. Try not to panic and just try to go with faith over frenzy. But, so if you have faith, you just roll with it. You just know that someone else is in charge, and there's I knew not to go in that direction, but we're doing fine. Actually, we're in good spirits.
Well, Vicki says that she's anxious about what's next. They've been told they will be sent to a military institution to quarantine once they're able to safely get off the ship. Officials in Oakland have not said what time today the ship will port in Oakland, and they're still working out those safety details.
IU Health is offering a virtual clinic to screen people for COVID-19. It's a way patients can get checked for the virus without leaving home. The screening is through their virtual care mobile app and is staffed 24/7 with doctors and registered nurses. When you log on, you'll be asked a series of questions about where you've traveled and your symptoms. Health officials stress that if you think you have symptoms of the coronavirus, do not just show up at the hospital. Either use the virtual app or call ahead. Throughout this process, our goal has been to educate and prepare you. Health officials say the best way to guard against coronavirus is to learn about it. We have compiled everything you need to know in just one spot. Head to theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
An investigation is underway this morning after a body was recovered from the White River just west of downtown. First responders were called out to a trail behind the Indianapolis Zoo just after 3:30 yesterday afternoon. IMPD says that what led up to the person's death is still being investigated. The name of that person has not been released at this time.
Police have arrested 2 men in connection to a homicide investigation in Lafayette this weekend. According to Lafayette police, 32-year-old Floyd Smith and 25-year-old Joseph Wilkerson are both being charged with murder. They're believed to be involved in the stabbing death of 29-year-old Donald Alkire. Investigators say the incident happened in the 500 block of North 7th Street Saturday night. Alkire suffered from a stab wound to the neck and later died at a hospital. Police have not released any more details, and they are still investigating.
Meetings will be held today and tomorrow to talk about compensation for landowners near the planned Nickel Plate Trail. The controversial project will remove old concrete train tracks and turn the space into an 8-mile trail connecting Noblesville and Fishers. Property owners along the trail in Marion, Hamilton, and Tipton counties may be up for compensation. Meetings will be held at 2 different locations this afternoon to discuss the possible cash. One will be at 2 p.m. at the Hamilton County 4-H Fairgrounds. The other will be at the Hilton Garden on North by Northeast Boulevard at 5:30. Lawyers will be there to answer any questions about making claims and how compensation will be determined.
Changes are being made in West Lafayette to help supply free feminine hygiene products in the city. Tampons and pads will be made available in all city building restrooms, including men's and gender-neutral restrooms. The move comes after Purdue University began offering them in their campus facilities. City council members did not say how much it will cost to offer the products.
Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's focus on linking you up with skills, resources, and jobs. And we love that we can find ways that education will propel you into your career. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with details on a class that's getting the students out of the classroom and into their community, where they're learning to build important community relationships. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So this class, it's teaching them, they're working with community partners, they're making things that the community needs. But this class, it goes beyond benches and tables, and it's getting these students into the community, building important relationships.
In an 88,000 square foot building nestled in the middle of downtown Muncie, Ball State students are hard at work.
The studio is entirely student-driven.
Students working towards their masters in architecture are getting a first-hand experience in creating.
We're going to start fabricating these different elements.
But creating is already a passion for these students. The main takeaway for them is learning to build community relationships.
That's really taught us how to interact with the different community partners, because we're working with Midwest Metals and other professionals.
Something Olivia Zepp says is preparing her for a career post-graduation.
Working with all of the moving parts and the different people I'll have to be contacting, and having the professional manner that you don't learn in a typical classroom.
Ball State partnered with Mad Jacks, the makerspace they work in, along with Minnetrista, Midwest Metals, and the Indiana Hardwood and Lumbermen Association.
Having all of these different materials to accessible to us, plus this machine shop that we have here, allows us to explore things not just in the computer and in paper and in a theoretical fashion like we would in most classes, but we've been able to go hands-on as well.
Professor Kevin Klinger says they are always looking for people to partner with in the community, whether it be helping you solve a problem, like if your community needs benches or something like that, they can build them for you, or if you're a company that has textiles that you think that this class could use. For more information, head over to hiringhoosiers.com. For now, so back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you. It was a good but close game for the Pacers and Victor Oladipo last night as they beat the Dallas Mavericks on the road. Indiana led most of the game but was down by 5 with 3 minutes left. That's when the defense and Oladipo came through, scoring the final 6 points to win the game, 112-109. The Pacers are back at home tomorrow against the Boston Celtics. All right, Todd, here at 540, you're telling us to hold on to our hats.
You know, that is definitely going to be the case, especially this afternoon as these winds ramp up to about 40 miles per hour later on today. It's a little breezy here this morning, but once the sun comes up, that's when we'll really start to see those winds increase here across the area. So just know it's going to be a very windy day. It's not completely out of the question. Maybe a wind advisory could be issued across parts of the area. With that said, as you walk out the door, at least it is mild. The kids heading off to the bus stop this morning, 51 degrees. Skies right now are partly cloudy across the area. The clouds will increase, though, throughout the day. And with the exception of maybe a very, very isolated shower as the kids come home from school, still mostly cloudy skies, a temperature right around 62 degrees. Any steady rainfall will hold off until after the kids come home from school, and for the most part, after you get home from work, as the rain's still off to our west. But once this rain does start in our area, it's going to be pretty steady throughout the course of the evening hours and into the overnight hours. We'll talk more about that for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Democratic presidential candidates Senator Bernie Sanders and former Vice President Joe Biden getting big endorsements ahead of tomorrow's primaries. Coming up, their strategies as they head into Super Tuesday round 2.
And thousands evacuating from their homes as a wildfire tears through Oklahoma. Still ahead, a look at the damage as flames continue to spread.
Jansen can help. Visit Xarelto.com.
After big endorsements for both former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders, tomorrow's primaries could be a landmark moment in the 2020 presidential campaign. 6 states are set to vote in what's being called Super Tuesday Round 2. The remaining candidates are now fighting especially for Michigan, with 125 delegates up for grabs. John Lawrence has the latest.
It'll be like deja vu all over again, but not quite as big. On Super Tuesday 2, contests will be held in Washington State, Idaho, North Dakota, Missouri, Mississippi, and most importantly, Michigan, with its 125 delegates. Democratic presidential candidates Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders spent the weekend stumping.
We're building a coalition. We're building a coalition that most successful presidents of our lifetime, Barack Obama, had started.
Change never takes place from the top on down, always from the bottom on up.
Each candidate received a big endorsement. California Senator Kamala Harris is backing Biden.
We need a leader who really does care about the people and who can therefore unify the people. And I believe Joe can do that.
While the Reverend Jesse Jackson is supporting Sanders.
I talk these days about democratic socialism. What does all that mean? The opposite word is democracy, all for and by the people.
Biden has a delegate lead over Sanders thanks to his dominant performance on the first Super Tuesday.
This is not an election just for the soul of the Democratic Party. It's a battle for America's soul.
Sanders, meanwhile, is still awaiting Super Tuesday results from delegate-rich California, where he is leading in a slow count, and focusing on Michigan, a state he narrowly won in 2016.
Let us win the Democratic nomination. Let us defeat Donald Trump.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
It is 5:47. President Donald Trump says he will not be attending the annual St. Patrick's Day lunch at the Capitol because of the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. The lunch has been held every year since 1987, and it's hosted by the sitting Speaker. The White House says Trump's decision not to attend is because of his relationship with Pelosi, accusing her of, quote, driving discord and disunity. Pelosi responded saying she would think that the White House could, quote, set petty partisan politics aside for this historic occasion, end quote. Vice President Mike Pence will also not be in attendance. There have been 4 other times presidents have not attended this, but they sent VPs in their place.
This morning, evacuations are underway in Oklahoma as a wildfire continues to rip through the region. The fire, known as the 412 fire, was sparked Saturday afternoon and has burned at least 29,000 acres. 2 towns in the state's panhandle have been told to evacuate as the flames threaten their homes. Some structures have already burned. So far, the wildfire is about 50% contained. Back here at home, we're going to have some windy weather followed by some rain today, Todd.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything going on in the forecast today. The good news is temperatures are well above freezing, so we don't have any wintry weather in the forecast. But the wind going to be more of an inconvenience than anything later on today, as the wind gusts will get up to anywhere from about 25 to 35 miles per hour, maybe a few gusts up to close to 40 later on this afternoon. Enough to cause an inconvenience, but probably not strong enough to cause much in the way of any damage across the area. But just know that that wind will become an issue. The winds right now are out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. But again, they'll ramp up as the day goes on, especially once the sun does come up. 51 degrees. Keep in mind, this is your first morning commute to work with the time change. Sunrise now not until 8:05 this morning. And then the trade-off, obviously, sunset later on this evening is later as well at 7:46. 53 right now in Greencastle, 56 in Bloomington, 55 in Muncie. These temperatures have been holding very steady over the last few hours and not expecting them to drop much more here this morning. And then we'll get back up to 60 degrees this afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. Best chance for sunshine the first half of the day. And then once we get past 6 o'clock, that's when we'll start to bring the scattered showers into the forecast. Can I rule out the chance of a scattered shower this morning or this afternoon? No, but it would be very spotty. It'd be very light. Probably not even worthwhile having the umbrella handy this morning. But eventually this area of low pressure. That is going to come in later on this afternoon, and that's what's going to ramp up our rain chances. So let me take you through the day today using TrueCast hour by hour. Partly to mostly cloudy skies at 11 a.m. Those clouds thicken throughout the afternoon hours. And by late afternoon, there could be the chance of a spot shower here in far western locations. And then this rain will overspread the area tonight. Once it does start, though, you notice it's fairly steady across the area. And don't be completely shocked. Tomorrow morning, maybe if you're awoken by a rumble of thunder as you're laying in bed or sleeping throughout the overnight hours as this front comes through, not expecting any severe weather, but certainly a rumble of thunder will be a possibility. Tomorrow morning's commute features some showers, and then we'll see gradual clearing as the day goes on. Your evening planner for tonight features the umbrella that will be needed with temperatures in the 50s. It's a wet evening for us. Then tomorrow morning as you wake up, temperatures are in the 40s and 50s. Tomorrow is not a watch out. There will be some scattered showers early on, and then we're looking at partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures cooling off into the 40s after a high in the 50s during the morning. And then you see rain showers Thursday as well as on Wednesday, and then Saturday and Sunday. None of those days are washouts. Just a little unsettled with temperatures, though, staying at or above normal.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We want to plan out your drive this morning as you're heading into downtown from the northwest side, starting off here at I-865, heading to the north split. It's a 17-minute commute southbound on the interstate. Traffic there is traveling up to speed. So let's look on the north side, I-465 over the White River. You can see traffic moving eastbound and westbound is moving along up to speed, picking up at this early hour. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated. It's 5:51. March is Women's History Month, and to celebrate, Google is making new doodles and announcing the top searched women on their platform. The most searched include singer Taylor Swift, tennis star Serena Williams, author Toni Morrison, and comedian Awkwafina. For International Women's Day Sunday, the site also changed their Google Doodle to honor women. The animation showed different women from different countries and their contributions.
Dairy Queen is turning 80 and is offering a special deal to celebrate. The ice cream shop posted the announcement on Twitter, offering buy one, get one blizzards for 80 cents. The deal is going on now through Sunday, March 15th.
A supermoon called the worm moon may light up the sky tonight. The meaning behind the phenomenon's name and how long you can catch a glimpse of this just after the break.
Prices at Ross. Yes, for less.
Welcome back. The time right now, 5:55. Here's a live look up on the northwest side of town, I-65 and I-865. You can see traffic in this area is moving along up to speed. No delays to slow you down.
Tonight, you could get a chance to see a supermoon. A true full moon will light up the sky, known as the worm moon. Supermoons happen when the moon is at its closest to Earth in orbit and will seem bigger and brighter. They're typically named by Native Americans because it helped them track the seasons. This one is called a worm moon because the ground gets soft in March, so earthworms can appear. You may be able to see it tonight, but it will also appear full through Wednesday. All right, Todd, we got to know, will we be able to see it? Are we going to have cloud cover?
You will not see it tonight as the clouds will be in place. However, as you walk out the door this morning, the moon is out. While it's quite not full yet, it's still very, very bright. I noticed it when I walked out the door this morning, and I think Wednesday's probably a little better opportunity, at least compared to tonight or tomorrow evening as well. 50s here this morning as you get going on this Monday. Notice a few specks of green here across Storm Team 6 radar. Not really going to cause any issues. In fact, most of that's not even reaching the ground. But there are better rain chances in the forecast as we work our way into the evening hours. So mostly cloudy throughout the day today. Temperature up to 62 degrees. That rain does return this evening, probably closer to sunset and then beyond. That's why you will not see the moon tonight as the rain will be falling. We'll talk more about that rain for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 5:56. Stay with us. We're back in just a few minutes.